Hello and welcome to episode 15 of the Arena Regulars podcast. I'm Zach.
And I'm Jeff.
And we are your neighborhood Magic the Gathering Arena sports bar.
Yeah, basically just two regular dudes. We drink beer, we talk about Magic, well, Magic Arena in particular, and we look in on what the pros are doing and, do our best to emulate that.
Yeah, and we also have like fantasy drafts every once in a while because, who doesn't love a fantasy draft, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So this episode, I am so excited for this because we've talked about this for quite a while and it's finally here. Yeah. So Kaldheim is coming out very soon. The day this podcast is coming out, actually, is coming out on Arena. And we are doing our Drunken Vorthos of Kaldheim. So, Jeff, what is a Drunken Vorthos? Real quick, let's just talk about that before we get to the beers.
Yeah, so we were thinking that, we're not the people who read every story and know every little detail of every character that's always going on. But there is a big element of the game that is the story and who these characters are and what's going on. And, we know not everyone has the time to read through all that stuff. So we figured we'd tell you. We'd read through the Planeswalker guides and the story and tell you what's happening. But we'll do it with a bit of a twist, because we're going to tell you after having a few beers.
Yeah, basically we read all the stuff, we know what's going on, and we're going to explain it to you, but we're, we've had a few more than we usually do when we started episodes. So
I feel like maybe it's time for a disclaimer, right?
Yeah, basically the disclaimer. This episode is going to be a little wonky, so get ready for the ride. And with
that, we cannot guarantee 100% accuracy.
So yeah, we actually can't guarantee any accuracy. So, but first, before we get into it, each week we both bring a beer, we drink our own, then drink each other's, and then rate them on a scale of bronze to mythic, and choose the best for last. So, with that, Jeff, what is on tap?
So I'm continuing with my Kaldheim theme here. I brought something called Electric Storm, for the sole reason that the can has like an electric guitar plugged into an amp. It just talks about face-melting guitar solos in the description. So figured if we're doing the heavy metal Kaldheim thing, we should keep up that
Totally. Might as well.
And so it's a sour IPA, 6.9%. What'd you bring?
I brought Cruising Through the Galaxy by Cameron's Brewery. It's a hazy IPA, 6.3%, and it's got like a purple background with green UFOs. But, cruising through the galaxy, trying to cross the cosmos, something,
I get it.
It's kind of close. Not really.
And our listeners will get it at the end of this show.
Yeah, we will explain what that means. But first, we would like to talk about a little bit of Magic news that we're going to call this segment, You Know What Grinds My Gears?
Tell me, Zach, what grinds your gears?
You know what grinds my gears? When I am working so hard to keep all of my gold and all of my resources for when Kaldheim starts, and all Arena is doing is giving me different cubes to try to, play in, or specifically this historic challenge that we had this last weekend that I wanted to play in to get 40 packs of Kaladesh, but I don't want to spend 10,000 gold and waste it right before the new set comes out. Well, that grinds my gears, man, Like, come on. But I held out, and I did not spend any of my resources on these. So I'm still on track. There's a couple days left, but I'm still on track. But we also found out something else that is horribly troublesome. And I want to bring us down for just a quick second. So you all know that we really love talking to our opponents when we're playing. And the best way to do that is stickers. And you know what? I was really excited for the stickers in Kaldheim. Turns out we just figured out what's in the Mastery Pass, and there's no stickers. There's no stickers. There's no new emotes.
Wait. No stickers?
None. No stickers whatsoever.
No, there's at least 5, right?
No. There's not 5. There's not 15. Nothing. It's like, I don't know. I at least that's what the breakdown says. I haven't actually seen the Mastery Pass yet, so we'll see. But at this moment, I don't know if that
grinds my gears. What's the equivalent of just making me sad?
I don't know. Like I don't know what that is. It pulls my tears.
What's some machine-related?
It pulls my tears. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. That's terrible. I don't know.
Makes my oil leak.
Yeah, my oil is leaking. It's just what a bummer, man. I was really looking forward to some sweet like hammer stuff, or maybe some like whack-a-mole looking.
Totally.
I don't know.
Feels like it'd be a great set to do it with too.
Yeah, there's so many things, so many characters. But with that, we should probably jump right into this because we have lots of stuff to talk about. And I know
it turns out this world is big.
It's very big. It's a whole plane, and it has lots of other stuff going on in it. But let's start off Kaldheim. So what is the actual plane of Kaldheim? Like, what consists of that?
So there's this thing called the World Tree. And the World Tree is... We're not sure whether it's actually a tree or not, but that's what it looks like if you're, from the outside. But it has different kind of mini planes. So the plane of Kaldheim is actually made up of 10 mini planes that are sprouting off of this world tree.
Yeah, and those planes are called realms. So that makes it a little bit easier. Right. So there are 10 realms on this world tree that we have.
Right, and the world tree actually has more like realms than that, but Kaldheim just consists of those 10.
Yes.
So the rest of them we won't hear about in this set because this set's about Kaldheim. And between these realms that live on the world tree is what we call the cosmos.
Yes.
This is kind of like the aether or like some sort of space thing that...
Yeah, I'm imagining it like it's just this black starry night, but it also has like an aurora borealis kind of thing flowing through it.
For sure, like
so there's lots of like
kind of thing.
Yeah, there's like light, but there's also like stuff in it because there are like monsters in the cosmos.
Right, that travel through.
Yeah. So who can travel through the cosmos? Like not everyone can just do that. It's not really simple, right?
Right. It's allegedly difficult. I mean, in the story, everyone seems to do it.
In the story, it seems fairly easy, but they tell you that basically, if you live in a realm and you try to get to another realm, going through the cosmos, you will get disoriented. You will start to go crazy. But you're not really necessarily floating. You're kind of walking, I guess. That's not extremely clear, but you do need some sort of like artifact or ship or something to help you guide you to your next place.
You essentially need something like divine, so the gods can do it, or stuff the gods' artifacts that they have
basically
can help regular folk do it. But essentially, it's really difficult for mortals.
Yes, without having the omen seekers are really great at, because omens actually help you. They show you the path. So basically, the cosmos isn't like space in the sense that you can't breathe. You can breathe. You just have no idea where you're going, and then you slowly lose your mind because you get lost in darkness.
Right, you can't navigate it.
You can't navigate it. That's basically the best way to do it. But someone that does live in the cosmos is this giant serpent, Coma.
Yeah.
The cosmos serpent, or the serpent of the cosmos, or it's basically well, you want to talk about it.
There's kind of a bunch of monsters, right?
Yeah,
that's Coma's the first one and the biggest and kind of most legendary one there, but all the legendary animals in the set are probably cosmos monsters.
They are. I'm pretty positive they are.
So they range from giant snakes to little squirrels to wolves
and owls and all that stuff.
Yeah. And there is said to be fruit that grew on the branches of the world tree.
Delicious.
But they they can pass easily between all that stuff.
Yeah. And then we also have, so basically all the realms are on these branches, and the branches kind of move. They're not necessarily just still. And when two realms like crash into each other, it's called a doomscar. Right. So a doomscar destroys all creatures, right? That's what we know about it so far. But really what happens...
And they're easy to foretell.
Yeah, they're very easy to foretell, except for the fact that people just say that they're going to happen, but like so basically we know that they're going to happen sometime, but everyone is really worried about it. And then when they do crash into each other, there's like earthquakes, and then people just go to war. It's not like everyone dies. It's the giants hit the humans, and then the giants go attack the humans, basically.
Yeah. I mean, as I understand it, it's kind of like both Like the giants think the humans are invading their lands, and the humans are thinking the giants are invading their lands, and so they just fight each other.
And they just fight. There's a lot of people that just fight for fighting's sake. They just
Right.
because they're like, yeah, it'd be a good story, bro. Let's go like fuck up this guy because it's gonna be a pretty sweet story. I'll tell you later.
But a little less severe than a Doomscar. Sometimes shifts just happen as you're rotating around this world tree, and that's called an omen path.
Yes. And the omen
And
path.
those are usually precursors to Doomscars.
Yeah, it's also one of the ways that you can get two different realms because they basically it kind of breaks through. It's a path through the cosmos to get you to other places, but they're not consistent.
Right.
But we do have a bunch of gods in this plane.
Yeah.
So what I thought was interesting about these gods is that we've seen gods before in the past. We've seen them on Theros and Amonkhet specifically. And those gods were like heavily worshipped and people devoted their lives to like, I don't know, pleasing them, I guess. Or, on Amonkhet, we had all these trials that people were trying to prove that they're worthy. On Kaldheim, that's not exactly the case. There's just like a group of gods. They're called the Skoti. And they are just like a family of gods that are like, hey, what's up? We're here. We took over. And we could be amongst you. Sometimes they pretend that they're human or different species. They go on different realms and just like in disguise. They can die. Like they aren't immortal. Yeah. People don't really worship them that much, but they know that they're there and more powerful than they are. So they kind of worry about it. But
it's almost like just a respect more than.
Yeah, it's just like, yo, that guy's like super fucking strong. So like, don't fuck with him, basically.
But it has interesting consequences because they behave as though their god. They could literally be talking to their god because the gods have a habit of disguising themselves as mortals and just going to hang out.
Exactly.
So it's like they have to. If they treat anyone disrespectfully and it turns out that's a god, then they're in bad shape.
Yeah, basically. So quickly, I just want to run through a little bit because the Skoti are pretty interesting because they're the gods that we see on all the cards, all the double-faced cards. Those are the gods, right? And so there used to be gods before this that are the Aenir, which we're going to talk about a little bit later. But the Skoti are like a family that took over that. And it was kind of nice for me to know a little bit more about the family tree as far as like who's, what's the hierarchy of the gods, right? Okay, so as far as the family tree goes, what we know is that Alrund is basically like this head honcho kind of dude. He seems to be one of the more powerful ones. And he, I don't know if he was married to, but he hooked up with Cosmina. Or Cosima, sorry.
With a dolphin.
He hooked up with Cosima, who's like can turn into a dolphin, like Jeff said.
Well, she was born as a dolphin,
right?
Cosmos monster,
right? So she's a dolphin. So he fucked a dolphin, and then after that, he had Thor, also known as Toralf, Burgi, and Kolvori. So they're like Toralf's the oldest, and Kolvori is the youngest, and Burgi's right in the middle. And basically, that's them. And also, Alrund has he went to Axgard at one point and found this baby, and his name's Halvar.
Yeah.
And he just was sick.
Adopted him, and then forgot about him for 20 years.
So he adopts this kid, and he says, oh shit, I gotta do something else. Sorry, bro. Leaves him there for 20 years. And then was just later oh, wait, I forgot about Halvar. He's my son. I should go back and he's probably pretty cool right now.
No, I'm telling you, he was I'm just going to wait until I can have a beer with my son.
So apparently the drinking age in Kaldheim is 20, which sucks. But that's the rules. Them's the rules. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
But so he's like, you know what? Let's go back to see him. We also have Asika, who is sisters with Terragrid. Now, Asika is the one... I'm going to stop hitting my pen against my finger. But Asika is the one who controls the Tyrite, which is the shimmering colors that's on all the gods' skin. And the Tyrite comes from the World Tree. So Asika's the one who's closest to the World Tree and controls all of that kind of stuff. And I guess can touch the tyrant. All the gods can touch the tyrant.
She brews some sort of elixir that they all drink to keep their youth and powers.
Yes, which is from the tyrant, and she's the only one who really knows how to do that. And she also has a pet squirrel named Toski that runs around and like listens to people's conversations and comes back and tells her. But like she's the only person that can talk to the squirrel. And the squirrel,
of these cosmos monsters.
Yeah, it's a cosmos monster, and the squirrel can't communicate to anyone else but Asika. So it's kind of like this little spy that's just. So I guess watch out what you say.
Which
around
is intentional,
the
so the squirrel can't give up any information.
Exactly, which is pretty nice. That's good. Also, Alrund is brothers with Jorn, Jon Snow or Jorn Snow, or whatever. Snow, Jorn Snow. And then we also have Valky, which is so. At first, I didn't think Valky was brothers with Torolf, but there was something that had mentioned that Torolf and Valky were brothers. I don't exactly know who the mom is, but it doesn't seem like it's Cosima. And
it's not the dolphin.
It's not the dolphin. Dolphin slash. So Cosima's the one that's the blue god that turns into like the flip side is the boat instead of a dolphin. So she could turn into a dolphin, but she also has this magic boat that helps people go places. I don't know why she doesn't turn into a dolphin.
I think they should have made her like a pyramid, basically, and you can play 3 different sides.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's a pop-up card.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
That's the next thing that they're going to do. After the flips, they're going to make, we got to make pop-up cards now. You pull it out of the sleeve, you open it up, and it like...
Sorry, not a pyramid, a triangular prism.
Yes, thank you, Doctor Jeff. And then quickly after that, we have Redane, who I don't know. We don't know anything about her really. And
it's unclear their relationship to the rest of people.
Yes, but the oldest and the wisest, I don't know, not really, is Egon, who is has a very strange disease.
Benjamin Button disease.
Yeah. So Egon, Benjamin Button. Egon
ages backwards.
Ages backwards. That's the word. So now
he looks like a teenager, but he's actually the oldest of all of them.
Exactly.
And none of them take him seriously because he looks like a teenager.
Yeah. So Egon's
pisses him off.
It's the god of death, but also So Egon looks like a teenager, but it's also mentioned a lot that Egon also acts like a teenager and is basically just a teenager, but has been around forever. Right. So it's like it's not even like Third Rock from the Sun, where like the oldest character is like the teenage kid that's Joseph Gordon-Levitt. It's just you are just a teenager, and that's it. You're just like this, and you're the god of death or whatever. But I think
getting less wise,
basically, as the years go on. We'll probably go talk about this. I know that we just kind of ran through all that, but anyway.
That should give you some overview.
So we know basically there's a world tree, there's 10 realms, there's like a bunch of gods. They're all related in some way for the most part. And they can go through realms freely, and they fight with each other all the time because there's a family. And what do families do best? Fight.
Yeah, in fact, they're actually a little more interested in their own like social politics than in, upholding like in overseeing the realms.
Yeah, no, they have nothing to do with like keeping the peace or any crap like that.
Yeah,
Burgi so Torolf is like this warrior dude who runs around smashing things with his hammer, and Burgi is the middle sister, and she actually hired these like servants, I guess, to follow him around and then report back to her about what he did, so that she could pretend that she did it and tell a really good story about the sweet thing that she did. That he did.
Yeah. But the first one she just sent with him.
Yes,
and
right.
Got annoyed with him and kicked him off a cliff.
And killed him.
So then the next one
was sneakier.
A
much sneakier
was a spy.
One. So I don't know what's going to happen to that second one when he finds out, because I'm pretty sure he probably will figure out, hey, there's somebody telling me. If he is,
he doesn't seem like the brightest, but
he's the strongest, and he just wants to do stuff. And he's the classic oldest son. Alrund's you should do these things and be this powerful god, and he's like, no, Dad, I want to just kill serpents and stab dragons. And Alrund's like, oh, my son, he's so annoying. Yeah. Come on, you have such a great potential. And he's like, no, I'm going to do whatever I want, and then goes off on his own.
God damn it, I know Raven's smarter than you.
Yeah. Alrund loves his ravens. I just want to say real quick, the ravens in this plane are really buff. Like,
Yeah.
Augur Raven
Like
is like a 3/3.
3/3s.
What? Why is a Raven a 3/3? Like Haka? It's well, whatever.
I love how a soldier's like a typical 1/1. You know.
Yeah, and then so a soldier's a 1/1. So everyone, okay, real quick. So let's jump when we're talking about soldiers. Let's jump over to our first realm before we get too sidetracked.
Yeah.
Jeff, what's our first realm?
First one is Bretagard. So this is basically where the humans live. And the humans are sort of Viking inspired in this set. So the humans that live in Bretagard live in 5 different clans. So Bretagard itself is kind of divided into 5 different regions that home these different clans.
5 different regions, like 5 colors of magic? Are there one for each color?
Maybe. Let's find out.
Let's find out.
But don't forget that Bretagard is Celestia. Okay.
So, right. So before we start this, there are
it's 5 color Celestia.
Yeah. So there are 10 realms, and each realm is assigned a different 2-color pair, except for Bretagard. Bretagard has just 5 different clans of 5 different colored humans. But the only one that's missing is Celestia. So we're saying Bretagard is the Celestia realm because that's the one that they hadn't talked about. And that's green-white.
Well, the Beskir are kind of green-white, right?
Yeah, but they're mainly white with a little bit of green, you know?
That's because the Kana have, like, green taken up. Okay, so let's
Kana
start.
took... So start... Yeah. What's our first clan? You already talked about that.
Okay. Yeah, so the first clan is the Beskir.
Beskir.
You know, for those... paying extra attention here, they live in Feltmark, but we figured it's more important to focus on the actual clans than the sub-regions.
There are so many words and regions. It's
There's
very
a lot
confusing.
of names.
Just think Bretagard human, Beskir white humans, basically.
Yeah, but basically there's 5 clans of these Vikings, as we mentioned, and they came up with a code, and it's kind of like what you would expect of a Viking code. If you murder somebody, then
you get murdered.
Their family, you owe their family a debt, basically. And the Beskir are the ones who adjudicate this. So the other clans come to them with a dispute, say, hey, this guy murdered my wife. I think that's worth 3 goats and a year of servitude. And the Beskir are like, okay, you got to give him 3 goats and a year of servitude.
It's also, I'm pretty sure that the Beskir also made the code of clans. So they invented it and decided what it was going to be. Classic white cards, am I right? Right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's not like Azorius where it's just like these are absolute laws.
Yeah,
it's kind of just like we'll listen to how bad this was, and we'll decide what the blood blood payment must be.
Yeah, I don't think they're not like the police, but they're just like they make laws, they don't enforce them. Basically, people tell them, hey.
Yeah, they kind of they settle disputes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's basically what happens. Next, we have the Omen Seekers. So those are kind of like the blue-aligned humans, and they're all like they're also each clan has like a leader, basically.
Right.
So for the Beskir, it is Sigrid and Maya, who are like Sigrid's father saved Alrund from from the Cosmos Serpent, actually, Coma.
I don't know if it's her father, but it's like in her lineage.
Yes, someone in her
ancestor.
Yeah, so that's why she's Sigrid the God favored, and she has protection from gods because basically she's been bestowed.
She has Alrund's blessing.
Yes, Alrund's blessing, and they won't really fuck with her.
The blessing of the God Daddy.
The God Daddy. Alrund the God Daddy. Oh, I want that to be a sleeve on Arena. Like Alrund God Daddy, and he's got he looks like a Tyvar. His nipples are out, and he's just like...
Oh, for sure. It's got to be sexy. Yeah.
I think the more sexy gods we get, the better. But anyway, sorry, so those are the kind of warriors of the Beskir. The Omen Seekers are the ones they're trying to, basically they want to travel all the time, and they're more interested in other realms and different things, and that's why they're they're Omen Seekers, and omens help them or runes, sorry, that help them move from different realms. So they are the ones who like they live by the sea and all that kind of stuff, so they can use boats to get to different places. And their main leader is Inga Runais. So she's this blind woman that can see the cosmos better than anybody else and all that kind of stuff.
She actually traded her sight for this kind of inner sight where she can see anything that any omen seeker has seen, basically. And yeah, like Zach said, the omen seekers, they are set on figuring out the cosmos and how to travel through it. So if you lived in Bredegard and you needed to go to another realm, you would go see the omen seekers.
Yeah, you'd have to
know how to do it.
You'd have to be friends with them. But so if Inga Runais can see everything that every omen seeker sees, does that mean she's kind of like a hornet queen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Except for not as good as as a hornet queen.
The card is different. It's
different.
It that way.
But I think this next one, the Skell, are pretty interesting.
Yeah. I want to pronounce it Skelly, but I don't actually know.
Really? So it's Skelle. I think Skell makes sense to me, and that's what I've been saying. But if you want to say Skelly, you can go fuck right off because it's Skell. Skelle. Hey, Skelle.
I think it's like the French in me that you put that E on the end.
Probably. And it's the American in me that's like, get rid of it. What is this? Foreign language? Fuck you.
Like I'm imagining that E with an accent, you know? It's like Skelle.
But except for it doesn't have that. Anyway.
Let me go track down some French translations of these cards, see if there's any accent.
I guess if it was Spanish, it'd be like Skeye.
There you go. That's how we should say
That's much worse. But basically, these are the black-aligned humans. They're kind of like these berserker raiders. What do you expect?
Honestly, Zach, they're not good people.
They're not. They are the Oakland Raiders. Oh, sorry, the Las Vegas Raiders. My bad. But basically, they're just like a bunch of like warmongering, berserker people that they were at one point blessed by this demon Vargoth came to them and was like, "Yo, I'm a fucking demon. Let's go fuck shit up." And they're like, "Yeah, this is so metal. Let's do it."
Yeah.
And they're like marching on the Beskir clan, and they're gonna like fuck the Great Hall over. And there's a big fight and all this stuff. Actually, not just a fight, but a Blood Sky massacre.
As pictured in the card.
The Blood Sky massacre.
Sorry, as pictured on the tattoo that appears in the art of the card.
Yes, which is also fucking badass, and I'm so happy
cool,
that they did that because that's really sweet. Because someone in the Skell has that fucking sleeve on his arm. And he's like, "Yo, dude, I know Vargoth. This is why. Like, I've met Vargoth, dude.
Yeah.
It's pretty sweet." But then after that, Vargoth got in trouble by the gods, and they banished him back to Immerstrom and ruined him up, made sure he could never leave again. So,
but these people will invade a village and then put up basically a magical totem, leave everyone alive, put up a totem around in the village that saps their strength. And if you ever take down the totem, they come and they kill everyone. And if anyone is like marked as a rebel against them, they put a death mark on them, which slowly saps their strength and gives it to whomever put the death mark on them. That's the kind of people these guys are.
Interesting. It does remind me of the card Wither Crown, but the art of Wither Crown depicts more of like an elven kind of thing, and it has text about Egon, god of death. So I don't think that's right, but a thing where
probably a different thing, yeah.
But it feels like it sits there and slowly sucks the life out of you. It kind of feels like that a little bit.
Yeah. So, needless to say, these people don't really abide by the code of the clans.
No, they do not. We have our red-aligned humans next, which might be our favorite. I'm pretty sure.
It's my favorite.
If we were on Bredegard, well, we would live there probably for most of it.
They have the best mead.
Yeah, they sure do. These are the Tiscari. Mm-hmm. Tiscari? I don't know. I'm going to say Tiscari.
I would say Tiscari.
Tiscari. Yeah. Basically, these are the drinkers, the boasters, the warriors. They live in the mountains, red-aligned people. Classic. But they drink the
layup
most.
there.
What they want to do out of everything is fight, go to war all the time, and do just fucking awesome shit.
They just want to be heroes, basically.
Yeah.
But not to save other people. They're not interested in, like, helping people.
No.
They're interested in doing something awesome so that they look good.
And they can tell the story later around
Right.
in an inn while people buy them drinks. That's essentially what they want to do. And that's basically, we do...
They want free beers. They
Yeah.
want a good enough story to get free
So,
beers.
Jeff, I would just want to point out that we do, like, 2/3 of that. So we
Right?
drink and we tell stories. We just don't do any cool shit.
Yeah.
So we are the too scary, almost like just a
Let's work on that last part.
yeah. We will.
Yeah.
It's also important to note that their leader changes constantly because
Yeah, that's my favorite part. So
yeah.
their leader is whoever's done the coolest shit. Mm-hmm. And that can change at any given moment if someone does something awesome.
exactly.
And they just acknowledge, even the old leader will acknowledge the new leader as having done more awesome shit.
It's like
than
props,
himself.
bro. Go ahead.
Yeah.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And the one who is the best right now in our story when we are coming here
Right.
is Jeff. Say who it is.
It's Arnie Brokenbrow, previously Arnie Goat Leaper.
Yeah, Goat Leaper.
Basically, these trolls invaded, and a bunch of people wanted to go, do heroic shit. So they all ran after these trolls. And Arnie was smart enough to challenge one of the trolls to a headbutting competition, which inexplicably he won. That's just kind of glossed over in the story how he won, but he won.
He's got a really
and-
thick skull.
And is therefore now the leader. And he
Yeah.
has a horn embedded in his head.
Yeah, so
this battle.
it's the actual tusk. So it basically like he
Tusk,
was
yeah,
was
sorry.
going to like headbutt the troll, and the troll's like, I'm gonna get him with my tusk, and like turned, and then it embedded into his head, and he just like ripped the tusk out of the troll's mouth. Well, actually broke it off, and now
Yeah.
it's permanently sticking out of his head, forever and ever. Which is
I have a feeling he'll be the leader for a while.
I don't know if anyone can beat that until he dies. If he dies, I mean, then maybe, but I don't know if he's gonna do that.
Basically, the Tuscari are the clan of Hold My Beer.
Yes, the Hold My Beer clan. That's perfect. All right, and then right after them, we are going to the last human clan of Bredegard, which is the Kana. That's the green aligned
the
humans.
green.
Yeah. Jeff, do you want to briefly tell us about the Kana? Actually, they're
So-
pretty sweet, though.
I mean, let me just think. It's hard to think about this. They're green aligned. Where do they live? Where do
Maybe,
they
I don't
live?
know. Green grass.
Is it a forest?
No, it can't be the.
they live in a
oh wait,
forest?
the forest. Wait, I
Yeah,
have.
yeah, they live in a
They live in a
forest.
forest.
Right.
Okay, yeah, for
okay,
sure.
Okay. So they live in a forest, but interestingly, they're actually kind of trapped there because they were cursed by the gods who reigned before the Scoti, and basically, if they ever try to leave, a super harsh, intense winter just blasts them back in.
Yeah, I think that's crazy. So basically, they have to stay around like this tree, right?
Yeah.
Because that's where it's winter the least. So it's always winter where they are, and the further
Yeah.
they get away from the tree, the harder the snow falls, and the higher the snow gets, and it eventually just gets to a point where it's impossible to move,
They just cannot.
and
do
you
it.
just have to turn back. And so they are forever cursed and stuck in this place.
But my favorite part is that they continuously appeal to the new gods because it was a curse made by the old gods, and the new gods just don't care because they're doing their own thing.
Because they're too
like
worried
family
about
matters.
telling stories about what their brother did, pretending they did it.
Yeah.
Or like, I don't know, having
with their own dumb
adopted kids that they forget
They
about.
just don't give a fuck to lift this curse.
Yeah.
So-
They're like, don't worry about it. It doesn't matter.
yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it.
Yeah. But so cool to the point. So their leader is this guy, Finn. Now, Finn
Yeah.
is fucking sweet, and I really like him. So he's Finn Fangbearer. So he's like he's their leader, and he's the dude, if you look at the card, he gives poison counters for death touch stuff. But basically, he's the only mortal who has fought Coma and actually wounded it.
Right, which is the giant cosmos monster snake. by the
Right.
way,
In
As
the
a reminder.
exactly. And so Coma is not allowed to go in the different realms. So this means that he went out into the cosmos and fought the cosmos monster, and apparently has a fang from it. It sounds like it. Oh no, what happened? What happened was he lifted a scale up and stabbed it with his sword.
Right.
But then the blood squirted onto him, and the blood is supposed to be like toxic. But instead of it like poisoning him, it went into his bloodstream, and now he has poison blood.
He's poisonous.
So if someone stabs him, his blood squirts out and poisons them, which is freaking
and that
sweet.
Scale that he lifted is what he uses as a shield.
How badass is that? That's so cool. Man, everyone's like so upset about this dude, and they're like, man, that card, why are they bringing poison back, blah blah blah. I was like, that's fucking sweet, and what a great flavor card, because like
they had to make his story good because everyone hated the card.
Yeah, his story is super.
I actually like the card.
I think the card's awesome. I don't think it's going to be extremely strong, but like it seems super fun, and
it's poison done right, because if you get rid of this one card, none of their stuff has poison anymore, and then the infect doesn't matter.
Exactly, but it's also poison done wrong, because infect is better since you can play pump spells. I love pump spells. You can't giant growth this guy.
But everything people hate about infect is not on this card.
That's very true. Yeah, but everything people liked about it is half on the card. Anyway, but so he's poisoned with the cursed clan, which is pretty funny. It kind of goes together pretty nicely, actually. I think.
But how did he get out to fight the serpent if he's cursed? I we'll have that.
I don't know.
Information is to be revealed.
We don't have that information. So, Jeff, why are you asking me questions I don't know the answers to? I'm trying to set you up. But, Jeff, I do have a question that you do know the answer to. Is do you need another beer?
Absolutely, I do.
Okay. Well, like,
did I get it right?
Yeah, you got it right. That's the correct answer to that question.
Yeah, it was a tough one.
Let's go to a beer break. All right, Jeff, what are you drinking now?
I got the Cameron's Hazy IPA here.
Yeah.
I'm pouring it into my cup, so I can't remember what it's called. Cruising through the galaxy.
Cruising through the cosmos is what I'm more like it.
I'm like Coma over here, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Just slithering through the cosmos.
And I got this Electric Storm Sour IPA. I think I got some nice sediment in here, too. I'm excited. That's a sign of a good sour in my mind.
Yeah. Also means if you want to brew your own beer, you can cultivate that.
Ooh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Doing that. I just know I really like Blood
Just
Brothers.
drink 6 of those bad boys, save the trout.
Put it in the next batch. All right. Well, let's get back on track. All right. So we just
You know what I'm curious about?
What?
What happens when you die?
Ooh, that's a great segue. Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
So, when you die on Kaldheim, there are 2 different realms you go to, but the first one we're going to talk about is the one for the glorious people, the ones who died in valiant battles and did their, I don't know, best. They have the best story, essentially. And that's...
So the Tiscari, right?
Yes, definitely the Tiscari. That's all they're focused on, is getting to Starnheim. So Starnheim is at the top of the world tree, and its light can be seen down basically on all the other realms. And you can see the light of Starnheim is what they call it. And this is where the Valkyries live. So this realm is like black and white aligned, so it's like Orzhov angels, essentially. And there are, as we'll see with the rest of the realms we're talking about, there are basically 2 camps of people. There are 2 camps of like creatures that are in each place, right? So because this is the black and white aligned realm, we have white angels and black angels, or they're Valkyries. Yes, they're Valkyries. But
they're
the white
angels,
ones, the white ones are the shepherds, and the black ones are the reapers. Mm-hmm. So their job is that each reaper and shepherd is paired together, and they go around and they kind of have judgments on people who are about to die. And they decide whether they are worthy for Starnheim or if they're unworthy, and the Reapers drag them down to Istfell, which we'll talk about.
The shepherds bring them up to Starnheim, and the Reapers kind of smite them down to the resting place for the unworthy.
Yeah, well, unworthy. It's just like there's basically Starnheim is for the worthy, and Istfell is just for everyone else.
For everyone else.
It's not really the unworthy, like you did something wrong. It's just you didn't do something awesome.
Well, I mean, it's unworthy in the sense that you're not worthy.
Yes, but it's not labeled as unworthy, I think.
Yeah,
Because
they're
you
trying
could
to be nice.
Those are for people who like died in an accident or a sickness or something. Go down to Istfell.
They're like, you go to the second best resting
Yeah,
place.
there's only two.
You didn't quite qualify for the number one, but we'll bring you to the second.
But basically, it's like it's not heaven and hell. It's like heaven and then like another place. You know.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a minute. So I don't want to get too bogged up about it. But Starnheim. So Jeff, what is the best thing about Starnheim?
So the best thing about Starnheim is that the mead never runs out.
Never runs out. So there's
basically they're just in a big drinking hall, right? And telling stories of their past deeds. And because they're all like heroes, they all have great stories. So they're all just drinking their mead, telling stories, and every story is great.
Yeah. And anytime that your glass is empty, basically you just think of it or say what you want in your glass and it fills up with it every single time.
Yeah.
And
you'll just say your favorite beer you've ever tried and that will fill it up.
Yeah. Which is just freaking awesome. And it's just an unending feast where you just eat and drink forever and tell stories. And it's like...
This sounds worthy of dying gloriously.
Yeah, it's like all the best things about doing awesome things or just being a freaking awesome podcast. It's just, you're in a podcast forever and your mug never runs out.
So you talked about, us not having done the awesome part yet. And it's like, maybe if I had this motivation that I knew if I did that, I would get the never-ending supply of whatever beer I wanted.
Mm-hmm. Or not only just the only one beer you want, but it's any beer you want at that moment.
Right.
There's so many.
Whatever you're feeling.
You just like finish and you're like, you know what? I want this beer now. And there you go. Because I'm sure you can get any liquid. It doesn't have to be mead because mead is not my favorite. But
to be fair, though, I've never tried a really good mead.
That's
because I've just tried whatever mead gets sold at the local liquor store.
Which is every mead you've ever...
But I've seen an ad on Instagram for this like bottle-aged, really nice looking, it's quite expensive bottle of mead, and it's tempting.
It's going to be
tempting
bad.
to give it a try.
It's going to be bad.
Like, what's a good mead,
It's not. It's honey wine, and it's fine. It's not great. I've had waxy mead. I've had okay mead. I've had... All right, but like it's never what I want.
I don't think you can just write off a whole style.
I will try mead every time I get it, and I never like it. So I will continue to try it until I find one I like. But it's definitely not beer. Anyway, let's skip past that. So Starnheim, you can have whatever you want. But the Reapers, which is the Black Valkyries, they will take anyone who is not worthy, but not necessarily unworthy, to Istfell.
Istfell.
And Istfell is just at the bottom of the world tree, and it's just like a spirit land, basically.
Like, was his deed heroic enough? And they're like, Istfell a bit flat.
Did you have that planned?
No, I literally just saw that.
That's so good.
I told you I was writing my puns down.
I know, but I thought, okay, that was a good one. I like that one. It's fell a bit flat. So these are the Azoria spirits. So it's you aren't necessarily blue or white aligned in this space. Everyone is just a spirit, and the longer you spend in Istfell, the more blurry you get.
Basically, from what I gather too, is you have total memory of everything that happened in your life. But you just don't really care about stuff anymore.
Yeah.
You just don't give a shit about anything.
You just lose all passions, basically. You're not angry about things. Like no one can rile you up. Basically, it means that we can't do a Return of the King kind of thing and go get the spirits to come fight for us against Sauron. We just have to it's just not going to happen.
Apparently you can kind of convince them to fight, but it's really tough. Even Egon, God of the Dead, he could sometimes do it, but...
It's just they're like, whatever. I don't really care.
Yeah, they just don't care.
Yeah. Also,
it's kind of like instead of heaven and hell, I guess we have heaven and purgatory.
Heaven and it's okay. It's like purgatory, and you just have no feelings really. It is important to note that the gods' hall, where all the gods hang out and sleep and stuff, is in Istfell. And
Right. Now that seems weird, Zach. Why would they put it there?
I don't know. We should ask Valky why he would want to put it there.
Yeah.
Basically, there was like a god realm where the gods would hang out in their god hall, and they're like, "Yeah, this place is sweet." And then one day, Valky was Torolf and Halvar were hanging out. They're like throwing a ball or something. They're playing catch, and Valky walks up to Torolf. He's like, "Hey, bro, I bet you can't take this yoke and put it on that horse right there. It's like a spirit horse going down to Istfell." And Torolf's like, "I could do anything because I'm fucking strong." And then Halvar's like, "Just so you know, I am the most, what is he, the best in each
Most
room?"
sensible person in any room.
He's the most sensible person in any room. And he's...
It said that like in every single thing.
Every time they say Halvar, they say that. So he walks over because he's the most sensible person in every room. And he says, "Hey, I think Valky might be trying to trick you." And Torolf's like, "No way."
Quick reminder, he's the god of lies.
Yeah.
Just saying.
he's the god of lies. So anyway, Torolf grabs this yoke and he pulls it and tries to get it on this horse. And he's like, "Wow, this yoke is really heavy, but whatever. I'm not really worried about looking behind me." Keeps pulling it. Finally, he gets the yoke on the horse right as he gets to Istfell, and he looks behind him, and he dragged all of the god hall through the cosmos into Istfell. And he's like, "Whoops." And then Valky's just laughing in the background, and Halvar's just like smacking his head.
Valky attached it to the Godfell and then said, "It's just impossible to saddle the horse with this. Nobody could do it." So Torolf was like, "I could do it."
I could definitely do that. Anyway, so that's why it's down there. And the gods were like, not so bad.
Yeah, the gods were like, "We should move this at some point." They have acknowledged that.
Yeah, they know that,
They
like,
just don't
hey,
bother.
we should do this, but not right now. So they just don't.
Whatever.
So ridiculous. Anyway, Jeff, would you like to talk about Axgard?
Yeah, so Axgard, I don't know what place in Norse mythology could possibly
Yeah,
have
it sounds
inspired
really
this,
familiar, but I can't put my finger on it. Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know either.
Anyways, Axgard.
Axgard.
Is where the dwarves live. And these dwarves are basically just kind of the common fantasy trope dwarves that you see in, like, The Hobbit. They live kind of in an impenetrable fortress in the mountainside. They love gold, stuff like that. So that's because it's inspired by the same things, right?
Exactly.
Norse mythology inspired.
Yeah, they make weapons and different, that kind of stuff.
So all the stuff you're used to is kind of these dwarves fit that bill. But the cool thing is that these dwarves have signature weapons that they kind of develop essentially since their childhood. And it seems like almost a rite of passage. When they're done their signature weapon, that's when they've achieved adulthood. And they get, their unique name. Right, so some of the names are like Fire Shield or Gold Staff, based on the weapon they've been crafting during their... I think it's technically their 100th birthday, but I got the impression that that's like, becoming...
it's like their quinceañera. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's like their 100th birthday, but it's their quinceañera.
Right.
And they're like a 16-year-old Mexican girl. And they're like, I got it. And like all their clothes kind of look like their weapon.
I was thinking like bar mitzvah, but yeah, exactly.
Sure, okay, yeah. I think quinceañera sounds fun. But yeah, bar mitzvah, basically, bat mitzvah, whatever. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, sure, yeah. Gender independent.
And they are also red and white aligned. So the red ones work more with weapons. The white ones work more with like... I don't know, shields and stuff, and like making.
But I actually think that part's kind of cool because, like, just the fact that these are the dwarves that you kind of know and love from most fantasy. Like, for example, there's a prophecy that some monster is going to be attracted to them because they have hoards of gold, and they don't know how that saga will end. They don't know how the story ends, so all the dwarves want to be the hero that repels which we know is a dragon because it's Goldspan dragon.
It's probably Goldspan dragon, and it might be bound in gold at some point.
Right.
So, but continue moving on. We have Notvold next, which I actually think
so. This is where the trolls live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are,
and there are two types of trolls, right?
There sure are.
So What are the two types?
I'll just say the two types.
All right.
So it's
let's just
green.
Wait. Let's just wait 10 seconds and then talk at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea, just to talk over each other. So they're green and red aligned. So this is the Gruul realm. But the two trolls, we have the Hagi, which are kind of like the red ones. They're smaller, more aggressive, very mean. Probably the ones that Arnie fought with, because I really doubt that
there's
Arnie
no way
headbutted
he
a Torga.
Torga.
And a Torga is like the green ones. So basically, the Hagi are the little ones who are more. They're kind of goblin-like, where they're not really. I don't know. They're not organized, and they kind of run around and just do whatever they feel like. And the Torga, actually, so when we were talking about this earlier, I thought I was a Tuscari, but ultimately through this pandemic, I think I'm a Torga. Because what the Torga do is that they stay with their families, and basically they just find a spot and they sleep there for like years. Just like 3 years. They're like, I'm going to sleep, and if someone wakes me up before I'm ready, I'm going to
be pissed.
Kill the shit out of you and rip everything apart until I get worn out and fall asleep again for another 3 years. Yeah. And that is how I feel.
That's basically what happens in this realm is the little annoying trolls annoy the shit out of the big trolls who are just trying to sleep.
Yeah.
They wake up, throw a fit, tire themselves out, and go back to sleep.
Rip the Hagi apart.
And just for like context, the Hagi trolls, the annoying little ones, are still pretty big by like human standards, but they're just kind of large humanoids, whereas the sleeping Torga trolls blend in with mountains. Like
they're just like boulders.
They're fucking huge.
They're huge.
Yeah.
Like you could build your house on it and not even know, and then one day it wakes up and then your house is destroyed. So
So when one of those things throws a rampage, it destroys everything. Basically.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. So watch out for those. We got Immerstrom next. This place.
Yeah. So we did talk about a demon earlier.
Yes.
Right? The leader of the Skellig.
Varagoth.
Or the sort of, he's not the leader because he got banished, but he
organized them
and they're kind of awaiting his return.
He's like Jesus, basically.
Yeah.
He came and he showed these humans how cool he was, but then he like left, and now they're just waiting for him to come back. And now they wear like they wear stuff that looks like him on their like chains with like Varagoth getting banished.
Just talked about heaven, hell, purgatory, and now Jesus. I feel people are going to think we're a Christian stream here.
Yeah.
Christian
podcast. No, it's just...
Speaking of which, up next we have hell.
We have hell. Yes, this place is literally on fire all the time. There is no snow. If you thought snow was everywhere in Kaldheim, it's not. This is the place it's not. Everything's on fire constantly. There's this thing, what is it? The blood crag? And it's just like a volcano, but instead of lava, it's blood. And anytime a demon kills something that's not a demon, aka like anything, the blood goes into the blood crag and then makes a new demon. And they're like,
this is how demons are born.
Yeah.
They're born out of the blood of previous demons' victims.
So basically, demons just want to kill everything.
There's a tragic story because no demons are being birthed right now.
Is that tragic though?
Because the old gods sealed Immerstrom away from the other realms, so demons could never get out. Varagoth found a way out and then got sealed back in. But basically, demons aren't out killing random people, so no new demons are being made.
Yeah. I mean, in my book, that's probably fine. I think that's okay. But it does make it feel like at some point, somebody's going to get out. That blood crag is going to be churning again.
If you're worried about the poor demons, just remember that it's kind of up to the Scoti, the current gods, to maintain this lockdown. And they're not very vigilant.
They don't give a shit.
They don't really care.
So basically, they were always locked up. So I saw that like the Aenir locked them up, and then the Scoti looked at those locks and were like, I could make that worse. And then they put up their runes, and they're like, sick, that's better. And they're like,
I could weaken that slightly.
It's chill. And the Scoti are like, whatever, it doesn't cost as much. We don't have to worry about the energy bill. Whatever.
Yeah.
the magic is fine. It works, I guess. And they just like go off and turn into a raven or whatever. It's just demons. I'm a god. I don't care about demons. Let somebody else, let the frost giants deal with that. I don't care.
Yeah. So, anyways, there's a lot of foreshadowing that this bind on the realm is not going to hold.
Yeah, and even with the way that it's bound, if it like doom scars into another realm, they can still fucking do stuff.
I have a feeling I know who's going to unlock it.
Yeah. Spoiler alert, it's probably one of the planeswalkers that's on the plane who's pretending to be someone else. But let's keep chugging along because I want to make sure we get through everything. Ooh, I like this one. This one's pretty fun.
Yeah.
So this is Karfell. So Karfell is the like snow wasteland of like blue and black zombies, essentially.
It's the land of the ice and the snow.
Ice in the snow. Isn't that just like the same?
You've lived in Canada for so long, you don't know the difference between ice and snow.
Yeah. But basically, okay, so these people, it wasn't always this like zombie wasteland. Mm-hmm. They were, before this, I guess I don't know what they were. Were they something?
They were just kind of, I don't think it necessarily says.
It doesn't say that they're humans.
I kind of assumed they were human. But maybe they weren't.
Maybe, but they could be. They easily could be. Anyway, they have like this king, Narfi, which is...
They were like an ancient civilization that goes back all the way to when the previous gods were...
before the Skoti. The Ynir were the gods before. And the Ynir are the ancestors of the Elves, which we're going to talk about later. But basically, what happened was Narfi made a deal with the Elves, which is the Ynir, the gods, and the Elves. Basically being like, yo, I'm going to fight on your side because these Skoti people are trying to take over your plane of Kaldheim, and I don't like that, so I'm going to be on your side of the fight. And then Egon, the god of death, who's the little teenager, but at this time, he might have been like a 20-something. Went down.
Maybe 30.
Yeah, maybe 20-something, 30. So, he thinks he has his shit together, but he really doesn't. He just has a podcast where he drinks beer and talks about magic.
Ooh, that hits home.
But anyway, Egon's like, yo, Narfi, this is the lowdown. If you fight on my side in the Skoti and fight it and betray those fucking elves, I'll make sure that none of your people, your army dies. Like, you just don't have to worry about that anymore. And Narfi's like, that's a pretty sweet deal. All right, so I'm going to shake hands with Egon. I'm going to fuck these elves.
I don't see any way this could go wrong.
Nah, you can't go wrong at all.
Treaty signed.
Turns out it was a little bit of so he betrayed the elves, which is one of the sagas that Narfi, like his betrayal or whatever.
Yeah, and he's also called Narfi the Betrayer in the cards.
Yes, so he this is the moment he betrays.
Or Betrayer King, maybe.
Yes, so that's the moment he betrays. But the fine print on the handshake he had with Egon said, hey, actually it means that everyone's going to die, but they're also going to turn into zombies that can't ever die. So, like, they're still alive.
I promised you no one would die in the war, and the way I'm going to do that is turn you all into undead.
Basically.
And then you won't die in the war because you're already dead.
Because you're already dead. So, yeah. Oof, got burned on that one.
Yeah.
Talk about frostbite, am I right?
Oh! We can edit that out, right?
Yeah, we can edit that out. Because frostbite is like a troll biting a human or something. It doesn't matter.
No, I loved it.
Anyway, so that is why he is that way. And the whole realm is just like ice and snow. Yeah. Good to note
the land of the ice and the snow.
They do live by a port called Marn. And so when they refer to the Dread Marn, that is the army of Draugr. So the Draugr...
It's like the Draugr are these undead civilization.
Ice zombies, snow zombies, right? And so the Dread Marn, when they raise the Dread Marn, that's the... they're talking about the army of Draugr, which are the snow zombies. Right. Yeah. Just important to know because it's a little confusing because you would think that it would be an army of Draugr, but it's the Dread Marn, which represents that. So... Get it going.
Next up is everybody's favorite color pair, blue-green.
Blue-green.
Which is Litjara.
Litjara. So, Jeff, when we're talking about all these different like tribes and stuff. So we have like these sweet trolls and humans. We have angels and zombies. What's the Simic one? What's this blue green thing going on? What's Litjara?
Yes. So whatever tribe you're thinking of, it lives here.
Wait, sorry, what?
Yeah. There's all of them.
Wait, so the blue green one, they have all the
Everything,
tribes.
yeah.
Everything. Interesting. Okay.
Everything lives here.
Balanced. It sounds very balanced.
Yeah, I know. So, you have to build demon tribal if you're in red black. If you're blue green, we know that wizards just gives you whatever you want.
You're everything.
You have everything.
This is like inherently you're everything. You're changeling. Everybody's just
Don't
a
worry
changeling.
about it, basically.
Don't worry about
Don't
it.
worry about it. Yeah. Also, that giant snake that we talked about earlier, blue green.
Blue green.
Because blue green needs good stuff to ramp into. That's what they're really missing.
But anyway, cards aside, let's talk about Litjara. So, what is this place?
That should have been in the Grinds My Gears segment.
That Coma is actually Simic, and it should just be, I don't know, Cosmos colored.
It should be green-black, because everyone loves green-black.
It should probably be white-blue, because it needs help. Anyway, so this plane, Litjara, what's up with it? What's going on? Sorry, this realm.
This is where the shapeshifters live.
Yes.
So nobody really knows what these things actually look like except the shapeshifters themselves. But basically what they can do is look like anything they see. So they can imitate...
They're like animorphs,
human,
basically.
or a dwarf, or an animal, or... Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. They prefer animals. There's like green aligned and blue aligned. So the green ones prefer like forest animals, and the blue one, they prefer like dolphins and stuff, like Cosima. Ooh, is Cosima like a shapeshifter?
Oh, damn.
I don't know. What? But basically something happened a long time ago to their realm where it like continually changes, and there aren't really specific. It's just kind of like the trees are upside down, kind of like the roots are the limbs, and the limbs go into the ground, all this weird stuff. And so Litjara is also a shape-shifting realm, and it reflects in they slowly turned into shapeshifters because of that. And they wear like these wooden masks to hide their true form.
So there's like the story about how it came to be, right? Which we don't know if it's true or not, but it's kind of a legend in Kaldheim.
Yeah.
Was they were this, just kind of, I think, again, it doesn't say, but I think humans. And there was a king that was fighting a war that they didn't believe in, and he was trying to conscript. And so they ended up finding some magical way to essentially disguise all the young people who would look like they were ready for battle as kind of old or, mothers with children. They were able to change their form so that he saw them. And so he had nobody to conscript.
And they could skirt.
And he flew into a rage, and then everyone had to flee.
Yeah.
Basically.
It's like a bunch of draft dodgers. Which I feel like a draft dodger. I understand that whole running to Canada thing. So
yeah. Oh, is that what you did? Oh.
Yeah, so I'm a Litjara, actually. As I pull my
rethink
face
this
off,
podcast.
I'm just a fucking shapeshifter. That's why I'm an actor, because I'm a shapeshifter. That'd be so...
Yeah, you are a shit. Oh, my God.
Whoa, what?
Everything is explained now.
Oh, my God. But yeah, basically...
One thing I appreciated, though, is that there's like the blue ones and the green ones, like you said, right? But there is one... who is both in the cards.
The legendary creature, yeah.
Yeah, what's their name again?
It is
Morite.
Yes.
And Morite's story is that they were either, I think, blue, but they might have been green, but they were blue, and they decided to shapeshift into the natural form of one of the green ones and go live in that society to learn what they had. So they were like, they were born as a blue shapeshifter and then shapeshifted to make themselves look like one of the blue shapeshifters.
Or the green
naturally
ones.
looks like, green ones, and go live in their society and learn the secrets of the green shapeshifters, and then that's why.
So I
just thought that was funny.
Which is important to know because when you're born on Litjara and you're a shapeshifter, you start there and then basically you just leave because also So basically, they can shapeshift into the colors in the aurora borealis that's around the world tree, and that's how they travel through the cosmos. So they can go to different realms, and when they get to that realm, they turn into whatever thing is there,
Right.
and they pretend and they live their entire life basically.
And it's not
as
really
something
like
else.
a nefarious reason. They're just curious.
No, they just
want to
yeah,
learn about other
they're scholars.
civilizations.
Yeah, they're just interested in learning about everything they can. And so they do this throughout their life. And whenever they're ready to kind of die, they just go and then like go back to Litjara and then walk into like a swamp or a pond or something. A pond, not a swamp, because there's no black. So it's like just a lake, and they just like drown themselves. And then
So I thought it was they're
die.
all trying to learn about other, civilizations essentially, and I thought it was just like it's one of the that's so when you read it you're like so obvious Marite's story of I'm trying to learn about my cousins.
Exactly. And then it's like, oh crap, I'm getting mutated into both or whatever. But classic, they are all the types, which is super fun. We're getting on this one's huge.
Yeah, it is actually pretty important. So.
Yeah, it is. So this next one is really big. All right. So we are going to Skemfar. So Skemfar is the realm of the elves. So the elves are black and green aligned. So we have the wood elves and the shadow elves. Obviously, wood is green, shadow is black.
Quick interjection. It should have been wood elves and elves of deep shadow. Definitely.
Well, whatever. I like shadow elves, but I understand the elves of deep shadow. But basically, they have kind of what happened was. Jeff, do you want to say what happened?
Well, as far as I know, there's no real obvious reason these elves hate each other. I mean, so
they got like split up because of something severed them.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I wasn't able to kind of figure out what it was.
They used to be
just kind of said
it was like they used to be elves, and then there's like a sword that like cut them, and then they became two separate groups.
I see.
It's one of the god weapons. I can't remember, but
okay. But basically, they were descendants of the old gods, the ones that were reigning before the new gods overthrew them.
Yes, they're called the Aenir.
Yeah, so they were the descendants of the Aenir. And so in this place where they live, actually those old gods, the Aenir, were kind of imprisoned by the new gods in these trees around. So the different trees are kind of their gods that were imprisoned.
It's like these 7 Jespar trees, I believe that they're called.
Jespera?
Jespera.
Yeah.
I think yes, something like that. Yes, Jespera trees that are around Skemfar.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, Harold. Wait, sorry, what is it? Harald.
I would call him Harold, but I think we were thinking maybe it's Harald.
Harald. It's Harald. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's so Harald. He's like I think he was a wood elf originally.
But he is a herald, right? So it's kind of
so it's kind of hard. Anyway, Harald went to all these trees and was like, "Oh shit, these are our like ancestors, and they were the gods, and fuck the fuck."
He had a vision of the two different elf factions uniting into one.
Because he like ate an apple from one of the trees that the Aenir were trapped in, and then he like saw this vision. Oh, we should put these elves together. That'd be great. And so he
was like, "Bro, why doesn't everybody just like everybody?
We should fucking chill, man. Like, what's going on? We're like this, and then we should be like this." As I put my hands together.
Yeah, Zach had hands far apart and then moved them together. So.
But basically he does that, and he's the king of the elves, and all the elves are like, dude, that's a pretty sweet plan. Like he ate that apple, and then he slept. He slept by this tree.
They were like, all right, maybe this guy's not that crazy.
Yeah, basically.
Maybe killing each other for no reason isn't the best idea.
But he's the reason that they are on the same side.
Yeah, it's tenuous
at the moment.
If he ever, so he declared himself the king of the combined elven groups, and if he were ever to die, for example, they would just go right back to fighting.
Exactly. So he's doing a great thing, and they basically worship Koma, the Cosmos Serpent.
The snake, yeah.
Yeah, the snake, because it used to go. So Koma used to be able to go through all the different realms and just like go where it pleased. And in Skemfar specifically, it burrowed holes through the ground, and it would like just live there. And they believe that it's their spiritual serpent that's kind of their savior.
Yeah.
And the fact that it can't go through those tunnels anymore is a travesty. And they are so mad at the Scoti for not only trapping the Aenir in the trees, but also because Koma cannot come to them anymore. And they worship these like tunnels. They think of them as like sacred ground.
Right. It feels like it wouldn't be that hard to convince them to go to war against the Scoti.
Yeah, I think someone can do it. I think there might be some voice that could probably push them over the edge.
But basically, Zach, I'm thinking, because we have the Harry Potter set coming up.
Yeah, okay.
They had to throw in this basilisk Chamber of Secrets kind of thing.
Interesting.
Here as a precursor, you know. Like
so
a giant snake that travels around unnoticed and is eventually let loose.
Okay, I see. So you're saying that Harald is like a house elf, and he just wears a pillowcase that's like full of boogers, and we just need to give him a sock so that he's free?
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that's how the story ends.
I think that once he gets a sock from Alrund, he becomes a planeswalker and can leave.
That's right. Well, I'm sure that's what happened to his brothers.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second, but we just have to quickly jump to the Giants realm, which is Surtland.
We got some Game of Thrones level intrigue.
This is some there's some stuff in Surtland. What's going on there, Jeff?
So basically, there are two types of giants.
Yes.
There are the frost giants and there are the fire giants.
Okay.
Now the frost giants are bigger and smarter. The fire giants are, well, weaker and dumber. So it's kind of a big bummer if you're a fire giant.
But the thing is, the frost giants just want to hang out up in the mountains and just like be out themselves, and the fire giants want to like get shit done.
They occupied the high ground.
Yes, and the fire giants want to get shit done. So frost giants get nothing done, but are smarter and stronger. But the fire giants get stuff done, but are dumber and weaker.
But I remember reading about this. It's like, okay, so the frost giants are smarter. Cool. And then it was like, and the fire giants, couldn't expect to battle their larger brethren. I'm like, they're also bigger and stronger? Like, poor fire giants. But the main level intrigue that's going on here is the king of the fire giants actually had an affair, I guess you would call it. I don't know if he has a wife, doesn't say. But he had an affair with a frost giant.
What?
Kaldheim, king of the fire giants. I know.
Oh
and he has an illegitimate love child with one of the frost giants.
That's gross. Disgusting.
Yeah, I know. So when you see the card Agar, the freezing flame, that's the illegitimate son of the fire giant king with a frost giant matron.
And Agar was raised by the frost giants, but wants to travel to the fire giants to learn the fire giant ways, similar to Avatar: The Last Airbender, wanting to know how to bend all the different elements. Agar is just like that.
I'll take your word on that one.
Oh man. Anyway, so let's keep it rolling. So we do have three. We should talk about four characters we need to talk about.
Jace, because you always have to talk about Jace.
Yeah, Jace. Obviously, Jace is important because why wouldn't he be? He's a mind mage. That's always cool, right? Just kidding. We have 4 planeswalkers, which is pretty sweet because usually you only get 3. So,
well, we kind of got 3.5. So
yeah, we have 3.5. I would still call the half a whole. It could be a whole. Yeah. It's almost
story-wise, sure, but like
story-wise
we only
for
have
sure.
3.5 planeswalker cards.
Yeah.
Although I guess if it's a double-faced card, maybe it makes the planeswalker show up more often.
Yeah, it's better. Anyway,
maybe it's 4.5.
So we're going to start with the one that does not belong to this plane. So that is Nico Aries, and we have talked, Nico Aries is what I've heard. So Nico Aries is from Theros, and they, important...
Named after a Greek god, being from
Greek gods. But they were born a great athlete and worked very hard. They were training a lot to be just like the best, mirror thrower, javelin thrower ever.
Yeah, they were javelineers.
Yes, javelineers. And Klothys was like, yo, so you're going to be the best athlete ever at the Olympics. And Nico's like, I don't really want to do that.
Quick reminder, Klothys, god of destiny.
Yeah, sorry.
So it's hard to say no to them.
Yeah, so Klothys is like, no, I control your destiny, so we're going to do this. And Nico's like, you know what? I don't really feel like doing that. How about I see if I can change destiny? So Nico's like, my opponent just threw that javelin to the bullseye. I'm going to throw mine into the dirt. And then was like, suck it, Klothys. What do you think? And Klothys is like so mad. And Klothys is like, Calyx, who's the planeswalker from Theros Beyond Death, get over here and you go get Nico and you take them. You get them.
I feel like you needed to say that like Scorpion.
Get over here.
Get over here.
And then anyway, so Calyx is like, I'm gonna go get Nico and make them do their thing. And then Nico is like, no, I defy you. And then defied destiny, as shown on the saga.
So they appeared on Kaldheim, and they don't really know what's going on now.
Yeah, they basically just like so when your spark ignites. So when Nico was like, I'm going to not be captured, basically, their spark ignited, and then you just planeswalk into wherever randomly. And so Nico has gone to Kaldheim, is the place that they have.
And they've spoken to a few of the locals, and they kind of have this theory that Theros was one of these realms of the world tree that is just inaccessible, but Nico somehow got here through that.
Yeah.
Because, of course, that's what the locals would tell you. Hey, there's plenty of different realms. And
you're probably one of them.
They're like, well, we haven't heard of that one, so it's probably just like an inaccessible realm.
Yeah, and so that's what people think. And so now...
That, like Omen Paths almost never open up between, but somehow it did, and you can...
And something happened, yeah. And so Nico's like, sweet, also now I throw mirrors, and I can like trap people in mirrors, but I can also I could throw a mirror, and somebody I trapped before jumps out of it, so it could be my friend.
Yeah, it's unclear whether they always had that power or they're just discovering it on Kaldheim because they're really adept with it.
Yeah,
based on
I don't know. It kind of feels like they were always good at the bullseye stuff. I don't know if they always had the mirrors, but like the mirrors are pretty sweet, and they know immediately how to use it. So it doesn't seem like it's something that's new, but it could be.
But it does say they've been there for like 2 weeks. But that doesn't feel like enough time.
Yeah, we don't
master
meet up
an ability like that.
Yeah, we don't meet up with Nico like well. First of all, I think Nico could be able to master it if they found out, like, oh, I can make this mirror and throw it. I think they could pretty much do that within a couple days. Because they never miss.
No, but like when I'm in the fight, they have 2 people trapped, and they know this next being is too powerful to trap in a third one without releasing the previous 2.
Yeah,
and it's like that's just something you need to know about your magic.
I think in my mind it was kind of like, oh, Nico just has trained enough to know, and Nico just, I don't know.
No, saying like training and hitting stuff on the mark is something they were trained in, but like you would have to know your magic well to know whether you can trap somebody else in a mirror and still hold the other 2 within that
no,
trap.
I guess what I'm thinking is like that it's been 2 weeks since Nico's been on Kaldheim. And if they found out they had a new power, they would train with it immediately and quickly figure out.
I'm just imagining them like going to the bar and trapping random people in these fucking.
Or just the
like,
beers.
Oh, okay, that's my limit. That's my limit.
Just like, you've been cut off, and they throw the thing and stop people from drinking.
No beer for you.
Just like the soup Nazi. No beer for you.
I mean, how else would they have learned it that fast?
I just think that they've trained their entire lives to be able to do something. So having a training regiment, they could just do it a lot faster than anyone else could. So
yeah, they're just good. That's how
I just think that they're good. Yeah, they're just
they
good.
learn fast.
They learn fast. Anyway, so that's Nico. Nico doesn't know why they are here. They're trying to figure it out as they go. All that kind of stuff. What's our next planeswalker as we kind of go over time?
Yeah,
This one's
Kaya.
important though. All right, let's talk about.
So Kaya's here because they were hired by a mysterious person. There was reference to Ravnik and gold, so
Someone from Ravnica,
I guess that's
maybe?
kind of like a currency that you can trust in the multiverse. So maybe that's why.
But most people don't know
anyways,
about other planes, though. So it must be someone who
right.
knows
So
that you can.
it draws
do that.
suspicion, right? It's either Ravnican or a planeswalker.
Yeah.
But anyways, we don't know who hired them. Kaya was hired to hunt some monster that even she doesn't really know what it is.
Interesting.
I mean, we know what it is.
we know it. It's Vorinclex.
Vorinclex.
Yeah.
So the Phyrexians are here, but just
Or
in the
one
as far as we know, just Vorinclex.
It's just
is
Vorinclex.
here. And Kaya was hired by somebody to go hunt them down, which means that somebody else knows that Vorinclex is there.
Yes. Someone else who may or may not be the person that sent them, but probably not the person that sent them.
It'd be weird. Like I was trying to think, why would Eleshnorn hire Kaya to hunt down Vorinclex, other than to kill a praetor so that she's more powerful? But I feel like she's already.
So basically, if you don't know, Vorinclex is one of the 5 praetors from New Phyrexia, who is now apparently they're going to be invading a bunch of sets or planes. It is important to note that this is not Kaya immediately after War of the Spark. Because Kaya was hunting down Liliana at that point. This is there's been a whole book since that, and a bunch of other stuff has happened. All that's done. So the Kaya you remember from War of the Spark, probably a year or so. Probably the time since War of the Spark happened. She's been doing stuff since then. So this has nothing to do with what was going on back then. Just a little
so anyway,
thing, but.
That's intrigue for the future.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with Kaya and Vorinclex.
Next we have Tibolt, I suppose.
Yeah, let's do Tibolt, I guess, and we'll wrap it up with the other one. Okay, so
Tyvar.
Same thing. So Tibolt was also at the War of the Spark. Didn't do a whole lot in the story, but has done who knows what since then, and comes to Kaldheim. So what has Tibolt been doing on Kaldheim, Jeff?
Well, it's hard to say because the only information we have comes from Tibolt himself, and he's known to exaggerate.
Yeah, or
but,
lie.
Essentially, Tibolt has imprisoned Valky, the god of lies, in Narfi, the Betrayer King's fortress, and then taken the role of Valky himself. It's not made totally clear why. But we are told that essentially some other person is blackmailing him to do this.
He also just likes
some other form.
Yeah.
He's already prone to this kind of.
Yeah,
thing.
he
He's
likes
a devil.
chaos and stuff, and he wants things to burn. He wants to watch the world burn.
Right.
So that's.
But there
part of
is
it.
some grand plan that some other being is kind of forcing out of him.
Exactly.
Whether that's the Phyrexians or not, it must be.
Probably.
But basically, he's trying to cause a distraction. And this involves, imprisoning the god of lies and then trying to get the elves to go fight the gods, stealing the sword that opens realms, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
So he's a lot of mischief and mayhem.
Basically. So,
But didn't fool Kaya, though, did it?
No, it didn't. So Kaya immediately sees. This is a little bit of the stories which we didn't want to talk about the chapters, but this one's really struck us. The card obviously has Valky on one side and Tibolt on the other, which is why it's kind of like a half planeswalker. But Kaya looks at him and within 2-3 paragraphs realizes something's up, and she
I think even faster than that. It was she 2 sentences.
Yeah, she makes a spell in her hand and blows it at him, and then his disguise disappears, and it's Tibolt immediately. And that's like the second chapter of the story, and you're like, oh, Tibolt, oh, okay. and then we just know that it's him, and so now Kaya's like on his case, I guess. I don't know. It seemed like
Well, yeah. And then she meets Tyvar.
Tyvar. So
great segue.
yeah, so okay.
And he's like, yeah, I knew that Valky was an imposter.
Yeah, I also felt weird about it because he was like trying to make. So Tyvar, Kel, is the other planeswalker, the last one. That's the mono green elf dude. He is Harald's little brother. So Harald is the king of the elves, remember? He's the little brother. But the great thing about Tyvar that I love is that he doesn't have little brother syndrome like Scar from Lion King or something, where he's like, no, I should be the king of the elves. Tyvar's like, Harald, you're pretty dope.
I don't know, bro. He
You're
seemed pretty intent on getting jacked and always showing off his pecs.
Tyvar's like, Harald, you're doing a really great job uniting all the elves. I'm going to go over here by the bench press, take off my shirt, even though it's snowing outside, but I'm going to be pretty ripped.
It's literally a part of his character that even though it's, winter and
he's
snowing,
always
he
shirtless,
has no shirt.
which makes me believe that his nipples are very hard all the time.
Yeah.
I'm like, that dude has like crazy goosebumps and really hard nipples. But he thinks he looks great. So, power to you, I guess. Confidence is strong. I don't know.
But I guess Tyvar is still used to the realms thing. He can travel between the realms.
Yes.
He's found a way to do that with his magic. And it's kind of revealed through his discussion with Kaya that he has actually been to Zendikar because he has a necklace from Zendikar.
Crazy.
So to him, it was just traveling through the realms, but really his spark ignited, and he didn't even realize that. He just thought he traveled to.
He just thought he was dope.
Realms.
So he kind of has like this. I don't know if it's a necklace or like a belt or something, but it has a bunch of different, I don't know, objects on it. Because he has this ability where his terrain changes what his body is doing. So if he's by a bunch of rocks, he can turn into rocks, or his body, his fists become rocks. Or if he's by metal, he turns into metal, or lava, he turns into lava, or whatever. So he has this belt or necklace, I guess. I don't exactly know what it is, but he can grab a pebble, and then the pebble makes his hand turn to stone, and then he punches something and turns it to stone, I guess.
Like a Torga troll.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, he could turn Torga trolls,
for example,
into stone, which is we have seen.
into mountains.
Yeah. Which is pretty sweet because then, you can throw him into water and he just turns to water. Like he's kind of like the character from X-Men New First Class that is supposed to like be able to evolve into whatever he's around and not die. Except for that guy got killed immediately, which didn't make any sense. But Tyvar...
But to be clear, he's not a shapeshifter.
He's not a shapeshifter. He's like better than that because shapeshifters...
So it's not like he just sees something and turns himself into that when he wants to.
Yeah.
Right? Like
it's
an elemental kind of thing and he has to interact with it.
Yeah, he's basically better than a shapeshifter because he's more than just looking like it. He is it.
Right, but he can't like make himself look like a different person.
Oh yes, yeah. He can't do.
He can like
no.
rocky.
No, it's just what's around him. That's why he has to keep the elements close to him.
That's what I mean. It's like it's elemental, not like
exactly
transforming into whatever he touches.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not that. But yeah, that's kind of everything. But
that's what's going on in Kaldheim.
That's what's going on in Kaldheim. I hope that you were drafting, having a great time because this is basically for you to play Kaldheim and listen to while you're doing it.
And I hope when you look at some of these sagas, you now know what they're referring to.
Yeah, maybe just a little bit more than you did before. But Jeff, I think I'm ready for last call.
Yeah, it's last call for sure.
Let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Hey!
I don't think that's ever happened before.
Whoa! All right, we chose each other's beers. That's pretty cool. All right, so I got an Electric Storm, and Jeff got the Cruise in the Galaxy. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think it's just because I like sours more than IPAs, honestly.
To be fair, I thought it was really close.
I also
both beers were good, not great.
I felt about the same, but I was really just feeling this this Electric Storm. I don't know. Felt nice.
Yeah.
Let's
that's good.
Yeah, let's just jump it right into what is it? Ranks or tiers. Let's start with Electric Storm. I think this is nice. 6.9 doesn't taste like that. It tastes just like really like refreshing, light.
Yeah.
I like it. I'll probably give this a Oof, it's close though. I think like it's platinum going on diamond. Honestly, I think it's pretty good.
Yeah, for me it was solidly platinum. I think.
Yeah, I think it's high platinum, but I don't think I can give it a straight diamond, but platinum for sure.
That's the thing. I think
this is good.
Yeah, I don't think it's diamond.
I'm not going to think of
like
it.
we've put some fantastic beers in diamond. You know.
Yeah, I don't think it's that high. You're right. It might be because I had a lot of beers before this, but this one's it's refreshing. So
it's good though. It's like when you want a sour, I want a sour that's beer first, and the fact that it's sour later.
Exactly. And I just want it to taste sour, so it does both of those things.
Yeah.
How about the Cruising Through the Galaxy, Cameron's Hazy IPA?
Yeah, this is also platinum for me.
Yeah. Okay.
This is a totally solid example of the style. It is hazy.
It's hazy. It's tasty.
It's,
they actually look very similar.
Yeah. Yours is a little, or sorry, it's a little brighter in color.
Yeah.
The sour IPA. Mm-hmm. The CRM's a little lower.
But yeah, I think both solid beers. Glad we had we're getting better. We're getting to a place where we actually like the beers we bring.
Is that the first time where we picked each other's beers?
I think it's the first time we've picked each other's.
I think it's the first time.
Because I've definitely picked yours and you've picked mine, but this is the first time we disagreed, but like in a
right. I think
opposite
every
way.
time we've disagreed, we picked our own.
Yeah.
Up till now.
And that's pretty funny.
And if not, correct us on Twitter.
Yeah, if you've listened. Yeah, come tell us, tweet us. And the way that you find us on Twitter to tell us that we have actually done something wrong in our beer choices or anything we said this episode is at Arena Regulars on Twitter and Instagram.
Yeah. You can also find us on MTG Arena. We have the account Arena Regulars Podcast. If you're wondering whether or not that was us, turns out, yeah, that's us. It's not,
us.
It's not a copycat account. Yeah, it's us.
No one is copycatting us at all. If you want to find me, just myself personally on Instagram or Twitter, it's just at Zulberg, Zeulberg. But Jeff, you have a big announcement. If we are looking for you, where can we find you?
I have some exciting news. I have sort of been testing the waters of streaming on Twitch last week, and I'm excited to announce that I'm streaming on Twitch.
Oh.
If you want to see some Kaldheim drafts, they'll start when this episode comes out, but we'll be doing it continuously. Current schedule is Wednesday, Thursday, and Sundays in the evening, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And you can find me at twitch.tv/bluesbrews. That's no space, no apostrophe, anything like that. BLUESBREWS. And you can find me on Twitter at bluesbrewsmtg.
Yeah. So Blues Brews, like Blues Clues, but with beer /
You got it.
decks.
You got it.
Also, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, Spotify. Follow us on all those things and YouTube, and come see Blues Brews and come watch him stream on Twitch and follow him as well, because just hang out with us. We just think you're awesome. If you're listening to us, you're probably a pretty sweet dude. And when we say dude, we mean dude as in a cool person, not guy. So just know that dude
no
means
gender at all.
We don't care. Dude means anybody that's cool. If you're not cool, you're not a dude. But with that, I think that's the end of episode 15 in our first Drunken Vorthos podcast. Good night.
We should just go with to scary from now on.
To scary.
Come hang out with us.
All right, that's fine.